If you've been wanting to build yourself a high-end gaming PC for as cheap as possible, then perhaps this series that we're going to start episode 1 off today with might be one way to do it, where we're going to be starting with 100 Aussie dollars here and then buying PC parts, either cleaning them or fixing them up, and then putting those PCs up for sale and trying to make profit on them so we can eventually work our way up to the highest end gaming PC that money can buy. Though if you guys missed season 3, I'll put the link to episode 1 up here. We actually ended up coming through with a big amount of success where we ended up eventually with an RTX 4090 gaming PC. Now since then I did flip that RTX 4090 gaming PC and put that money towards my new used car. But starting off this series with episode 1 here today is easily the hardest part of the challenge. But that's why I'm actually quite patient and I wait for the right deal to come up before I do start episode 1. Let's go head over to the table now and check out what we've already got. Now you'll notice there's already our $100 on the table here, but there's also a PC, a monitor, power cables, a headset, and 2 keyboards and 2 mice. Now, I was on a used PC parts hunt and someone listed a PC for 75 Aussie dollars. Now, I offered them $50. However, in the listing, they did say it was working and they said it was in used good condition. However, upon going to pick it up, they then said, well, mate, the PC just doesn't boot up. There's something wrong with it and you can have the whole thing. So I guess they went to test it out before they sold it and realized something's wrong. Though the guy was a good lad and he just said you can have it for free. And I'm thinking if we end up tasting a lot of success in this series, I will definitely pay that back to the guy and then some and take care of him. But let's take a look at what we've got right here, what the issue is, and see if we can fix it up. Right after today's video sponsor, of course.
If you want to get rid of this annoying activate Windows message, then today's video sponsor SCD Keys has you covered for as little as $15 US after you enter that coupon code BFTYC. You can cop yourself a legit single end user license today. Also works for Windows 11 Pro too. Links in description below.
Right, hey, time to boot her up. Okay, so memory stick is in the other slot, and it's actually it's getting a bit further. It's getting a bit further. It's actually booting up now for a couple of seconds instead of just shutting off straight away. So what we're looking at right here is an absolute win in my opinion, because we have a 2GB DDR3 stick of memory on hand, and I actually keep this for testing things like this, just in case a motherboard might be faulty or perhaps a stick of memory is faulty. And in this case, it looks like the memory stick that was included with this build is faulty. It's an 8GB stick, and what we've done here is we've put the 2GB stick in both slots on 2 different boots, and the PC is booted up absolutely fine in both instances. So what we're looking at here is an easy fix in terms of just getting the PC working. That is, we'll go out now and buy 2 8GB sticks of memory to make 16GB in total, because if we're looking at a PC flip, no one really wants 8GB nowadays. It actually detracts people away from the ad if they see 8GB of RAM. So we definitely want to get 16GB in here. Now in terms of the GPU, we are looking at a GT 720. But the power supply, ironically enough, is actually pretty decent. It's a 400 watt Powerman. Now, I've actually never had a bad experience with a Powerman power supply, even their budget models like this. And I've actually used quite a few of these in the past in builds. And so they're actually quite reliable, especially if all we're coupling it with is, say, a GTX 1050 Ti or something like that, which we're actually going to be looking for too, because we got this budget of $100. I do intend to use it and spruce up this PC a little bit, just so it looks good on the spec sheet, because the included monitor, that's an absolute win as well. The keyboard and mouse will take that dub as well. So let's get to work on looking for some ads here. So here's our first piece of the puzzle, the GTX 1060. Looks like it's in okay shape, but it's actually raining pretty heavy outside, so we're gonna go pick up the next deal and make this one really quick. So we just got back now to the Tech Yes studio. We've got our replacement parts here, and we are going to clean everything up and then quickly see if our PC works no problems, or if we've got to further diagnose any problems and fix them. And hopefully it's smooth sailing though. There's not anything major in the way. So the PC is now fully operational, and it is up and running without any major hiccups. There actually is one hiccup I've noticed, and I'm gonna fix that really soon, but everything works really well. So i5 2500, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 500 gigabyte hard drive, 120 gigabyte SSD, and there's no coil whine on the power supply. The fans all sound like they're absolutely fine. And one thing is, I've got to give a shout out to some of these really old fans. The one in this case was so filthy, but it's just still powering on like a champ, probably like over 10 years later. So shout out to the old 80mm fans that are just stuck in random banger cases. Actually, this is an Antec case, so that actually speaks really good lengths to Antec. So they're kind of making their resurgence lately, but actually a great test of time to the fans that they put in their older cases. Anyhow, off topic, back onto topic. 83 degrees on the GPU, getting very hot very quick. That means the GPU needs a repaste. So while I'm at it, I might as well do the CPU as well. So just clean up both those and quickly come back, and then also give the case a quick multi-purpose spray down, make it look like it's brand new, shining, looking good. And we'll come back to a photo shoot after all this too, like after we do the final check on the temps and stuff after the repaste. So let's get into that. And now it's time for round 2 with this setup and the final temp tests. And our GPU is now going up to a maximum of 72, 73 degrees. So yeah, about 10 degrees cooler after that repaste. But again, at this level, the 10 degrees is so much more important. So whacking 10 degrees from 83 to 73, a much better result. So let's photo shoot this thing and then talk about what we're going to try and price this thing up for and the strategy going into episode 2. So this setup is now all up online. We've got it for sale on Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace, and we're asking 250 Aussie dollars for it. So hopefully someone comes along and they're able to come in at asking price, because I feel like the setup is quite decent because it does have everything there. The GTX 1060 being the strongest selling point of the build. So I put that first in not just the specs, but also the listing to make sure people say, oh wow, GTX 1060 6GB monitor, keyboard, mouse, and all that other stuff. And also the headset, that looks like it's brand new. I mean, it's still got the plastic wrap around the top piece there, and just closely inspecting it, it looked like it was brand new. And it includes Wi-Fi, this whole build. And the best thing is, we don't need any extra cables, so we don't have to go out and spend any extra money there. And we've also got left over a spare power cable still, a regular kettle cable. And we've got that spare keyboard and mouse too, which could definitely come in handy if we're still going to be banging out setups. And also a GT 720. So going forward, I'm hoping we get the 250. And then we've still got about 33 Aussie dollars left over, because I am going to, in this whole series, price up little materials that I use. For instance, we are using the wipes to clean things down. We are using thermal paste. We've got the GD900, even though a whole tube of that stuff will literally last you like, I think I'm going on about 4 years now on that 30-gram tube. It lasts so long if you use it right. And then the last piece of mats that we're including in this is also that multi-purpose spray, which is about $4.50 Aussie a can. So I'll put the tally up on the screen, as well as the USD conversion prices, so you can convert the USD into whatever currency you are locally, and you can see what I'm trying to do with this series and how I'm going so far. And coming out of episode 1, I will say that the free PC, I'm gonna take that, because that's part of the gig right now. The market is really bad. And I think that's why I was able to get something like that, because I'm looking online right now and there is just so many gaming PCs for sale. It is a flood of gaming PCs left, right, and center, especially at the price point that we're selling our PC for, around 250. It's actually a little bit more. It's around 400 to 500. That price point is flooded. I've actually never seen a gaming PC market like this before, and especially comparing this versus the same time last year, where I think we started doing the series around this time too, it just feels like a completely different vibe. It's definitely a buyer's market, much more than it's ever been in the past, and that means that it's not a seller's market. So it's going to be very tough for me. I think season 4 is going to be very tough. I'm going to have to get my competitive edge on, and that's what we've done so far, with just starting off with some of the best starts that we can get here, with not just that free PC that we ended up cleaning up and fixing up, but the parts that we got with that. I mean, the 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, not a bad deal, and then the GTX 1062, so that's not a bad deal either. So with that out of the way, that wraps up today's episode, the first episode of season 4. Hope you guys enjoyed this one here today, and also let us know in the comment section below what parts you want to see me look for in the next few episodes, as I'm really hoping we can get this sale through quickly as possible, so I can start that next episode as soon as possible too. Anyhow guys, with all that aside, I'll catch you in another tech video very soon. And I'm also in the process of looking at getting these 4070 Ti's on a separate video. So stay tuned for that video, because that's actually coming along, and it's looking like I will be able to get this legit score on 4070 Ti's, which would be one of the best deals I've ever got in history. So things are looking pretty good. Not just in this series, but outside of this series. Except for selling the PC, that's all. That's not looking so good. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out for now. Bye.